In life, we often find ourselves trapped in the endless loops of overthinking, constantly replaying the past or worrying about the future. This habit of the mind creates anxiety, fear, and unnecessary suffering. But have you ever wondered, why does the mind behave this way? Why can't we simply silence these thoughts and find peace? According to Buddhist wisdom, the root cause of this mental suffering lies in attachment to thoughts. The mind craves control, it seeks certainty, and it clings to negative experiences, which leads to an endless cycle of fear and anxiety. The more we try to fight these thoughts, the stronger they become. But what if I tell you, you can break free from this chaos? Buddhism offers ancient yet powerful techniques to master your mind and gain control over your thoughts. By understanding how the mind works and applying these profound teachings, you can free yourself from overthinking and find true inner peace. In this video, we will explore 5 powerful Buddhist lessons that will transform your mindset and help you escape the prison of your thoughts. If you truly understand these lessons and apply them in your daily life, your mind will become calm, your emotions will stabilize, and you'll start experiencing life with clarity and peace. Let's begin this journey toward mental freedom. Lesson 1: the art of observing without judgment. Most of our suffering doesn't come from the situation itself. It comes from how we judge and react to our thoughts. The mind creates endless stories, labeling everything as good or bad, right or wrong. This habit of labeling is what keeps us trapped in overthinking and emotional suffering. Buddha once gave a powerful parable called the 2 arrows. When life throws pain at us, such as failure, rejection, or loss, it is like being struck by the first arrow. This pain is inevitable. But what do we do next? We shoot ourselves with a second arrow, the arrow of mental suffering. We begin to overthink. Why did this happen to me? I'm not good enough. What if things get worse? This second arrow is what creates anxiety, fear, and endless suffering. But what if you stop resisting and simply observe your thoughts as they are? In Buddhism, the mind is often compared to the sky, and thoughts are like passing clouds. Some clouds are dark and heavy, filled with fear and doubt. Others are light and gentle. But no matter how intense they are, they all pass. The sky itself remains untouched and unaffected. This is the art of observing without judgment. Instead of fighting your negative thoughts or trying to silence them, simply watch them. Observe your mind like a peaceful monk sitting by a stream, watching leaves float by. Each thought is like a leaf. Some are beautiful, some are rotten, but all eventually pass. Every day, spend just 5 minutes sitting in silence. Close your eyes and simply observe your thoughts. Don't try to stop them. Don't label them as good or bad. Just watch them as if you're watching clouds drifting across the sky. At first, your mind will resist. It will try to pull you into fear and anxiety. But the more you practice, the more you'll realize a powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And this realization changes everything. When you stop identifying with negative thoughts, their power begins to fade. Your mind becomes calmer, your emotions become lighter, and the endless cycle of overthinking slowly dissolves. This simple practice of non-judgmental awareness has the power to rewire your brain and free you from emotional suffering. Remember this: no matter how dark the clouds are, the sky is always clear above them, and that sky is your true mind. Second, detach from the ego. What if I told you that 90% of your suffering comes not from the situation itself, but from your mind's reaction to it? The constant overthinking, fear of the future, and regrets from the past, all of this is created by one thing: your attachment to your thoughts. Buddhist wisdom reveals a powerful truth that can free you from this endless mental chaos. You are not your thoughts. Your awareness is eternal, but your thoughts are temporary. But the problem is, the ego traps us in the illusion that we are our thoughts. When a negative thought arises, like self-doubt or fear, we immediately identify with it. We believe, I am anxious, I am a failure, or I am not good enough. This identification strengthens the ego and pulls us deeper into the spiral of overthinking. But here's what most people don't realize. A thought has no power until you believe in it. The Buddha explained this beautifully through the parable of the two arrows. When life throws a painful situation at you, that's the first arrow, the unavoidable pain. But when your mind reacts with fear, anger, or regret, that's the second arrow, the suffering you create within yourself. The first arrow is inevitable, but the second arrow is optional. So, how do we escape this self-created suffering? By detaching from the ego and breaking the habit of identifying with every thought. Whenever a negative thought arises, simply observe it without judgment and remind yourself, this thought is not me. It is just passing through. This simple mantra is a powerful Buddhist practice that helps you step back from the mind's constant chatter and watch your thoughts like clouds passing through the sky. Some clouds are dark and heavy, while others are light and peaceful. But no matter how intense the storm is, the sky itself remains untouched and limitless. Similarly, your awareness is like the sky, vast, calm, and unshakable. Your thoughts are merely temporary visitors. They come and go, but they are not you. Try this simple practice. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by negative thoughts or anxiety, close your eyes and repeat silently in your mind, this thought is just passing through. It is not me. Visualize your thoughts as leaves floating on a river. Watch them pass by, without grabbing them, without reacting to them. At first, your mind will resist. It will try to pull you back into overthinking. But the more you practice this, the more you'll begin to feel a strange sense of inner peace and mental freedom. Slowly, the ego weakens. The mind becomes quieter, and you start to experience something most people never do, the pure stillness of your true self. This is the power of Buddhist detachment. The moment you stop identifying with your thoughts, you break free from the prison of overthinking. And that's when you finally realize you were never the noise in your mind. You were always the silent watcher behind it. Third, embrace the present moment. Do you know why your mind is constantly filled with anxiety and fear? It's because you're either trapped in the memories of the past or lost in the worries of the future. The human mind is like a restless traveler, always jumping between what has already happened and what might happen next. And in this endless cycle of overthinking, we miss the most precious thing we have, the present moment. In Buddhism, the present moment is considered the doorway to true peace and mental clarity. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." But the question is, why is it so difficult for us to stay in the present? Because the mind is conditioned to seek pleasure in the future and escape pain from the past. And this habit traps us in an endless loop of thoughts, fears, and self-criticism. However, the good news is that the mind can be trained to break free from this mental chaos. One of the most powerful teachings of Zen Buddhism is the practice of just this moment. It means fully immersing yourself in whatever you're doing right now, without judgment, without distraction, and without worrying about what's next. When you drink tea, just drink tea. When you walk, just walk. When you breathe, just breathe. But most people live their entire lives without truly being present for even a single moment, and that's where suffering begins. Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet room, and your mind is filled with anxiety about the future. At that moment, instead of trying to fight those thoughts, simply observe them. Don't resist them. Don't label them as good or bad. Just allow them to pass through your mind, like clouds passing through the sky. This simple practice is enough to calm your mind and bring you back to reality. One of the most powerful techniques Buddhist monks use to stay present is called the 5 senses practice. Whenever you catch yourself overthinking, gently shift your attention to your senses. Feel the warmth of your breath. Listen to the sounds around you. Observe the light in the room and feel the ground beneath your feet. The moment you connect with your senses, the mind automatically stops wandering. You see, overthinking only exists when your mind is stuck in time, either in the past or the future. But the present moment is free from fear, free from regret, and free from suffering. When you fully experience the present, even the smallest things become beautiful and peaceful. Drinking water becomes a blessing. Walking on the ground feels magical, and breathing feels like freedom. Most people spend their entire lives chasing happiness in the future, thinking that success, money, or fame will give them peace. But Buddhist monks have discovered a powerful truth. Peace is already here. It was never in the future. It was always hidden in the simplicity of the present moment. The problem is, our mind is too noisy to see it. So how can you break free from the trap of overthinking? The answer is simple. Slow down, breathe deeply, and come back to this moment. When you're drinking tea, feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. When you're walking, feel your feet touching the ground. When you're breathing, feel the air entering your lungs. And when negative thoughts arise, simply observe them without judgment, like watching leaves floating in a river. The moment you embrace the present, you will notice something magical happening within you. Your fears will disappear, your anxiety will fade, and your mind will finally find peace. Because true freedom is not found by controlling your thoughts. It is found in learning to let them pass while staying grounded in the present moment. This is the secret to ending overthinking and finding true inner peace. And the truth is, you don't have to wait for years to experience this peace. It is already here, right now, in this moment. 4. The power of silence in Buddhist practice. In this chaotic world filled with endless noise and distractions, silence has become one of the rarest and most powerful practices to achieve inner peace. In Buddhism, silence is not just the absence of words, it is a path to self-discovery and mental freedom. The Buddha himself spent years in deep silence, meditating under the Bodhi tree before attaining enlightenment. Why? Because when the mind becomes silent, the truth reveals itself. Most of us are trapped in the constant noise of our own thoughts, overthinking, self-criticism, and fear of the future. But the truth is, the more we try to control our thoughts, the more chaotic the mind becomes. This is why Buddhist monks practice silence, to free themselves from the endless chatter of the mind and connect with a deeper state of awareness. But how exactly does silence help us break free from negative thoughts and overthinking? The answer is simple. When you remove external noise, you begin to hear the noise within you. And when you observe that noise without reacting to it, the mind slowly begins to calm down. Buddhist masters often say, in silence, the mind heals itself. When we talk too much, think too much, or constantly seek entertainment, we are escaping from ourselves. But when we embrace silence, we start observing our emotions, our fears, and our insecurities without judgment. And in that process, the mind naturally begins to let go of anxiety, stress, and overthinking. Now you might be wondering, how can I practice silence in my daily life? The beauty of Buddhist wisdom is that you don't need to escape to a monastery to experience the power of silence. You can start by incorporating small yet powerful silent practices into your daily routine. Silent eating. In today's world, most people eat while watching TV, scrolling through their phones, or talking endlessly. But Buddhist monks practice mindful eating in complete silence. When you eat in silence, you become fully aware of the taste, the texture, and the aroma of the food. You chew slowly, and your mind becomes calm and present. This simple practice not only improves digestion, but also helps quiet the mind and reduce anxiety. Silent walking. Silent walking. Another powerful practice is silent walking meditation. Instead of walking with your phone or listening to music, Try walking in nature in complete silence. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen to the sound of the wind. Observe the movement of your breath. When you walk in silence, your mind slowly disconnects from unnecessary thoughts and reconnects with the present moment. Silent journaling. Writing down your thoughts without any distractions is another way to declutter your mind. Buddhist monks often practice journaling in silence to observe their emotions and thoughts without judgment. When you write in silence, your subconscious mind starts releasing suppressed emotions and fears. This simple practice not only clears mental confusion, but also helps in self-reflection and emotional healing. Silent driving. Most people listen to loud music or talk on the phone while driving. But what if you turn off all distractions and simply drive in silence? When you drive in silence, you become fully present with the road, the surroundings, and your own breathing. This practice not only reduces stress, but also helps you gain clarity and peace of mind. Creating silent zones at home. In Buddhist monasteries, there are certain areas where no one is allowed to speak. These are called silent zones. You can create a similar environment at home. Choose a corner in your room where you sit in silence for 10 to 15 minutes every day. No phone, no music, no distractions, just pure silence. In this space, you allow your mind to slow down and reconnect with your inner self. The truth is, silence is not empty. It is full of wisdom. The more you practice silence, the more you will start observing your thoughts without being controlled by them. Slowly, your mind will become more peaceful, more focused, and free from negative thinking. In the modern world, people believe that happiness comes from doing more, achieving more, and thinking more. But Buddhist monks have discovered that true happiness comes when you stop, when you slow down, and when you allow silence to heal your mind. Remember this: the mind is like a muddy river. The more you try to stir it, the dirtier it becomes. But when you allow the water to be still, the dirt naturally settles and the water becomes clear. This is the power of silence. It heals your mind, removes negative thoughts, and brings you closer to true inner peace. 5. Simplify your mental space. In today's world, our minds have become like an overcrowded room, filled with endless worries, distractions, and unnecessary thoughts. Just as a cluttered space makes it hard to find peace, a cluttered mind traps us in anxiety, confusion, and overthinking. But in the teachings of Buddhism, there is a simple yet profound truth. When you empty the mind, clarity naturally arises. The Buddha once said, "The more you let go, the more you gain." But what exactly does this mean? It means that our suffering is not caused by the external world, but by the endless noise within our own minds. We carry unnecessary regrets from the past, fears about the future, and countless negative thoughts that serve no purpose. And yet, we hold on to them as if they are a part of who we are. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And when you start letting go of useless mental baggage, your mind becomes lighter, calmer, and more peaceful. The Zen practice of mental decluttering. In Zen Buddhism, emptying the mind is considered the highest form of wisdom. Just like cleaning a messy room brings a sense of calm, removing unnecessary thoughts creates space for inner peace and clarity. But how can we do that? The answer is simple. Start small. Let go of just one unnecessary thought or worry each day. For example, if you constantly worry about what others think of you, remind yourself, "This thought is not helping me. I choose to let it go." If you find yourself overthinking past mistakes, gently tell your mind, "The past is gone. I release this thought and return to the present moment." By practicing this daily, you slowly start freeing your mind from the heavy burden of overthinking. The power of mental minimalism. Buddhist monks live a simple life, not because they want to escape the world, but because simplicity leads to freedom. When you let go of unnecessary desires and attachments, your mind becomes light, peaceful, and focused. In the same way, when you simplify your mental space, you gain clarity and emotional freedom. Imagine your mind as a glass of muddy water. The more you try to stir it, the dirtier it becomes. But when you allow it to be still, the mud slowly settles and the water becomes clear. This is exactly what happens when you let go of unnecessary thoughts. Your mind becomes calm, clear, and fully present. A simple practice to declutter the mind. Every morning, ask yourself, what is one useless thought I can let go of today? Is it fear of the future? Is it regret from the past? Is it self-doubt or negative self-talk? Identify it, observe it, and gently release it. The more you practice this, the more space you create in your mind for peace, creativity, and meaningful experiences. The path to inner stillness. In Buddhism, simplicity is the key to enlightenment. When you free your mind from unnecessary noise, you naturally enter a state of stillness and clarity. You start experiencing life more deeply. Small moments, like sipping tea or watching the sunset, begin to fill your heart with joy. Your anxiety fades, your overthinking disappears, and you begin to live with true inner peace. Because the truth is, the mind was never meant to be a battlefield. It was meant to be a peaceful garden. But to experience that peace, you must first remove the weeds of unnecessary thoughts. And that is the secret to mastering your mind, letting go of what doesn't serve you and allowing simplicity to lead you to true freedom. Conclusion: the path to mastering your mind. The truth is, your suffering was never caused by the outside world. It was created within your own mind. Your constant overthinking, self-doubt, and fear are nothing but illusions created by your thoughts. And the more you try to fight them, the stronger they become. This is the endless cycle that keeps us trapped in mental suffering. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us a powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. Just as the sky is not affected by the passing clouds, your true self remains untouched by the chaos of your mind. The moment you step back and begin observing your thoughts without judgment, you break free from their control. When you detach from the ego, embrace the present moment, find peace in silence, and simplify your mental space, the mind naturally begins to heal. The noise fades away, anxiety disappears, and a deep sense of inner peace arises from within. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small, mindful steps. Choose one lesson from these 5 Buddhist teachings and practice it consistently. Spend a few minutes observing your thoughts, like clouds passing through the sky. Detach from negative thinking by reminding yourself, this thought is not me, it's just passing through. Ground yourself in the present moment through simple practices like mindful breathing or silent walking, or start decluttering your mental space by letting go of one unnecessary worry each day. As you practice these simple teachings, something profound will begin to happen. Your mind will slowly quiet down. Your anxiety will lose its grip, and you will experience a sense of inner freedom that you've been searching for your whole life. Remember, the mind can either be your greatest enemy or your most powerful tool. It all depends on how you train it. And this is the power of Buddhist wisdom, not to escape the mind, but to master it. So, start today. Choose one practice, stay consistent, and watch how your mind transforms along with your entire life.